This time on Bob World Builder, we discuss how to play D&D, the one and only thing you truly need to get started playing Dungeons & Dragons. Hey gang, Bob here, and welcome to Bob World Builder, the D&D channel where beginners and pros can come together to improve their game. This is my first real video I'm producing for the channel, as well as the first video in a series called How to Play D&D, not only designed for new players who are just getting into the game, but also there for veteran players who either want a fresh perspective or can come to this with some advice to give to these new players. That's what this channel is really all about, is generating discussion about D&D and how to make it more fun for all of us. And so in this video, I'm going to be sharing a short story about how I discovered the one and only thing that you actually need to play Dungeons & Dragons. The reason I'm making this video is mostly for those new players who are seeing D&D for the first time, probably on one of these streams that are out there, one of these beautiful streams that introduce so many people to the game. There's Critical Role, there's Savored Dice, there's the Adventure Zone, there's Harmon Quest and Matt Colville's new stream, and you're probably seeing people with these beautifully painted custom miniatures and these rare dice, finely crafted dice trays or dice towers even, the DM screens folding across the table, stacks of rulebook, the terrain they might be playing on, all these things, and not even to mention the time. 3 hours long is usually a short video. There's 4, sometimes 5 hours long, and they're doing that once a week. So if you have a friend who wants you to get into a campaign with them, it can seem like a huge investment of money for all that stuff and the time just to be playing the game. So here it is, guys. The one and only thing that you actually need to get started playing Dungeons & Dragons is one other person. Just one person who is interested in sitting down with you for as little as 20 minutes, going back and forth, telling a story together. And I want to share my experience with this and how I learned. That's all you really need. So last year, I was working at a science summer camp for middle schoolers, and on the first night of camp, when most of the guys were out playing kickball in the lawn space kind of in front of our cabins, there were a couple hanging out on the deck in front and one student who was sitting by himself, just kind of writing in a notebook. Being that kid, when I was his age, I wanted to go over and say hi and see what was up. And when I did and asked what he was working on, he told me he was writing a campaign. As somebody who's interested in D&D, I asked, oh, for Dungeons & Dragons? And he replied saying that it was actually for a homebrewed version of D&D that he and his cousins all play, basically in a setting of post-apocalyptic zombie survival. And he was writing a prison break one-shot. And when I told him how much I love D&D, he got really excited and wanted me to help him by playtesting it, basically. And he was asking me for advice on it. Later that week, a night or two after that, we sat down on the porch again and just had really just a conversation back and forth for, I really think it was only a half an hour or so, where we ran through this really fun adventure. And here's the secret, guys. We did not have rule books. We did not have dice. I didn't have a character sheet. The very first thing he did was ask me, okay, so who's your character? And so I just on the spot said, so I'm a janitor named Steve. And the first thing he said back to me was, okay, I hadn't thought about a janitor, but that'll work. That was a really valuable, I think, teaching moment for him as a young DM, fully willing to improvise with, whatever his player came up with. Oh, and so before anybody dropped a comment saying, no rulebook, no dice, no character sheets, how is that Dungeons & Dragons? The spirit of D&D is telling a story, okay? And so even though I did not know this person very well, and all we had in common at this point was a love of D&D and role-playing games, we were able to sit down and create this awesome story together. And it's really one of my best memories of D&D in the few years that I've been playing, and I love to tell people about it. So I understand that this playstyle is definitely not for everybody. It's not how I play most of the time. I usually use more equipment and have a lot of the books now, and all that stuff's great. But if you're trying to get started, all you really need is that one person who, maybe they're not even interested in D&D yet, but they like fantasy, books, movies, TV shows, whatever, or they've played other role-playing games. Because D&D is really where these two things intersect in a way that nothing else kind of compares to. Probably in another video, I'll talk a little bit about that and why people should play D&D, so maybe you can use that to convince someone to play in the future. All they need to give you is 10, 20 minutes of their time. And all you really need to do, if you don't have an idea from a, say, fantasy book or a role-playing game, is just Google D&D plot hooks and find one and run with it. Because after that, it's just a matter of asking, what do you do next? Or if you're the player, what do I hear behind the door? That's all it really comes down to. So if you agree with what I'm saying in this video, please like it and maybe share it with a friend who's trying to get into the game. Don't forget to subscribe to see new videos like this one every Wednesday. And most importantly, as always, leave a comment below. Please tell me and tell this community what you think about this style of play. Not only theater of mind, but playing with minimal or zero equipment at all. Share an experience if you've had one like this before. And lastly, guys, thank you for watching and keep building.